Breathe, motherfuckers, breathe. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? We're gonna let them get in here for a minute, y'all. I know I usually have my little music and all kind of shit, but not today. We just gonna talk some dogs, man. We're gonna talk some dogs and we're gonna have some fun. I don't know why it's not popping up. What's going on, Kush Tribe? Boo, what it do? What it do, man? Hopefully y'all brothers having a good evening. I'm sitting up here trying to figure out my page so I can share it. What's going on, T Reynolds? Debonair, what up, what up? But you know, it's been one of them days, I'm telling you. It's sort of strange, you know, as far as one of them days go, because you like, man, what's going on, Robert Vaughn? What's up, Eric? Oh man, tired as shit. They locking up my damn debit card. It's been one of them days, but we getting it in, man. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna have some fun. I was saying I was gonna do this yesterday, and this been a rough trip, but a good trip at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good, man. We can't complain. You know what's going on, Mr. Owens? You know I can't complain at all. If I was gonna complain, who would give a damn? You know what I mean? So we just had to look at it like that. But it's strange. Yeah, I don't know, man. I was trying to actually share this video, and then for whatever reason, this damn thing will not let me share this video. Yeah. YouTube actually made a bunch of adjustments, so it make it harder and harder and harder, man, to His dad actually passed his baby through look, now this shit gonna cut on. I'm about tired of YouTube. But hopefully it hold good. We have a good video tonight and be able to get it in some, you know what I mean? Now today was strange, man, because I actually had to deal. What's going on, Braden's bullies, my dog. Today was a strange day, man. I was actually just talking to Braden's bullies, and you know, like the weirdos, you know, and I'm not spending like a lot of time on them at all, but it was strange because, you know, all of y'all know, if you talk to your OGs, which of course my OGs are, yeah, gotta get them out there on them walks, Rob. My OGs is my dad and my uncles and shit. And we were talking about the weirdos on these apps and different things. And it was funny in a way just to hear their different reactions, which I agree with to a certain extent. And y'all, because y'all know I've always said that, like, who has so much time? Like, today I actually got alerted that it was, you know, more and more stuff on my other pages. And it's sort of like weird, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, OGs be like, hold on, man, do we gotta, you know, do something to these motherfuckers? Who got that kind of time? Y'all tripping, you know what I'm saying? What's going on, Rich? But, you know, wow. It's been a lot of different things that have gone on since I've been jumping on here. And, man, them grandkids is doing great. I was just messing with them. Yeah, that's a different type of thing there. When the baby just lay their head on you, you like, what the hey, I'd be ready, you know what I mean? What's going on, CC? Much love. You know, it's a different thing, man, you know what I mean? And really, I think even before I go into that, having, you know, the babies, the grandkids and shit, I think it's one of the reasons why I don't flip out as much. It's been a weird ass, you ain't missed nothing. We only been out here 4 minutes just bullshitting, Max. But it's been a weird thing to, man, you know, the last, I don't know how many months have been crazy, bro. Business has been crazy. Everything has been crazy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, cause you gotta. I've been good though, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't let them drain me. Now I'm more fascinated in a way. You know, like I say, I'm at one of the best places that I've ever been. I think mentally. Like I'm at that point where like I don't give too much a fuck about who you are. I'm not gonna let you throw me all the way off. Things have been horrible in a lot of facets of life over the last 6 months, but I've been stable. You know, I just keep on going. But you get a realization of the importances of life, the wins that you take, the losses that you take, and the things you can't control, and you just keep on trying them. You know, I don't really care to. I don't really care to deal with those clowns. You know, I was just talking about that. You know, showing my dad how this. Well, telling my dad about how this weirdo dude. I think he's supposed to be from Canada or something, but like, bro, literally, people have sent me where he's had like all these pages, and the pages is just like dedicated to talking shit about me. Then you go on our one page that we don't use too much, and you know what I mean. What do I think about Crown being the big talk? What Crown? I don't even know. I'm downtown rich. I'm lost on the Crown. You gonna have to help me out. Y'all help me out. I've been in my own little zone, but yeah, you know, it's a strange thing as us as adults having that much time to stalk people. You know what I mean? Like I seen this dude. It was sort of weird. Like I'm like, fuck. Like dude literally has had like, I mean, it's a lot of pages, and he's just all over our pages. He's made videos, he's made TikToks. You know what I'm saying? And my dad, you know, my dad is old school, like, shit, what we gotta do? We gotta fuck this motherfucker up? I mean, you know, that's where they at. You know, you got some information on this motherfucker, see what's going on? And I'm just like, man, we got a world of weirdos. People wonder why I travel, and I always got guns and shit with me, is because you never know. Our society is strange. The way our minds work is strange. You know what I mean? Man, yeah, Tramel, he got way too much time on his hands. And it always, you know, you never know, man. You know what I'm saying? I watch a lot of shit, and people get real weird, bro. People get obsessive, and you can't even, you know, it's strange, man. What's going on, GP, my brother? Much love. You know, hopefully I have something for you real soon, man. But you know, that obsessive, that weird thing, it's very, very weird. Sometimes you can admire people in a good way. Yeah, I don't really mess with the exotic dogs, man. You know what I mean? Like, and really, I'm gonna tell you, really, downtown rich, what has become a thing is like, man, there's so many dogs now. That's another problem that we have. You know what I mean? We've got a weird culture. We've got obsessive motherfuckers. We've got celebrities. We've got a million dogs, and the game is just going to shit. You know, it's going to shit. I'm gonna tell you what, Halls, Pauls. I don't even think that. I'm gonna tell you, right? I've often compared the train wreck dogs in their society to a, a Ponzi scheme, and it is, you know, because you know I'm in touch with a lot of people, especially since I started trying to do this shipping thing, which is starting to pick up. And thank y'all for y'all help with that. But man, people ain't really making no money. They tell you they making a lot of money. They try to, you know what I mean? Exactly, Tramel. Exactly. You know, they tell you they making a lot of money, but they're not making them a lot of money, man. I keep on. Well, they exposed now. You know what I'm saying? And they getting crazier and crazier. But they give you one example, right? And downtown rich, I'm gonna tell you the truth about that, man. Sometimes when they say it's a major sale, really don't believe that it's a major sale. And then we can't base the market off of one foolish person and believe that everybody is winning. That's another thing that's being done, and a lot of people are falling for that, is to where Bashar created this. And I watched Bashar very, very closely, and I learned a lot from Bashar on how he does it. Bashar goes by basic marketing. It's books on marketing that tells you this. Like, if you put something out there enough that something is great, something is great, something is great, something is great, somebody's going to validate it with a purchase, right? And at that moment, once the first person validates that your story with a purchase, now the validation, you can put a price on it. And so, you know what I mean? So I could make, like, once upon a time I was owner of Blow Jeans, you know, along with Dave Wilson and Cruz, you know what I'm saying, and Herb. And we had our jeans and we put, you know, $100 price tag on our jeans. You know, the reality was, it's coming from the factory, our jeans was the same as the probably $30 or $40 jeans. We just put a little velvet lining in them and, you know, fancied it up with a couple different buckles or whatever the case may be. But the moment that, if, you know, if we were able to get certain people to wear these jeans, we were validated. It's no different than the dog game. Bashar has convinced people that people are spending this kind of money. I'm going to be honest with you. Casablanca never sold for no $1 million, like Bashar said. If y'all ever notice something, I'm just being real with y'all, no hate. When he said that Casablanca sold for $1 million, right? Did y'all ever notice that y'all never seen Casablanca again? Casablanca was dead and they were promoting him. Y'all never noticed that you never heard a death date on Casablanca. You never seen a post where, oh, Casa's dead and this, that, and the other. That dog was very, very sick, and I'm quite certain that he died. You know what I mean? Yeah, I still got some Blow shirts, Eric. Yeah. You know, but Bashar mastered this thing because he would tell you things like, you know, just like we just seen with Beanstalk. Like, Bashar went out there. What's going on, Trent? He went out there and he said the dog is valued at $4 million. I can't tell y'all what he sold for, but he's valued at $4 million. You know what I mean? And which one? You said new pup? You talking about Chubb? Chubb is the one with mostly white. The all blue boy, that's Cristiano Ronaldo. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you know, whatchamacallit, Tommy. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that you probably talking about the blue boy Cristiano Ronaldo, man. Yeah. Oh, I appreciate it. You have no. That's a big ass dog. Like, he's not tall. It's about 16 inches, but he's massive. He'll be a year next month. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's gonna be something else. His dad is really impressive. I appreciate it. But, you know, with the way that this thing goes is that these guys have convinced a lot of people that these dogs are selling for these huge prices, when economically it just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? You know why you don't see a million Rolls Royces riding around? Because Rolls Royces aren't sold every day like that. Everybody's not buying Rolls Royces. You know what I mean? To buy a $25,000 puppy is the equivalent to buying a Rolls Royce. You know what I mean? In the dog world, you know what I mean? Like, you think about it. Now, I'm being serious on the math side. When you buy a basic nice car nowadays, it's like 40 to 50 grand, right? That's basic nice. We ain't even talking about, you know. Think about it. A basic nice puppy, you know, 1,500, 2,500, 3,000. So let's just get in the middle with the 2,500. You take that 2,500, you know what I'm saying? You multiply that bitch by 10, you got $250,000. I can get you a nice little Bentley GT or something like that. You know what I mean? This is the same. If you do the equation, it's very similar to buying a Rolls Royce car. These people want you to believe that if you buy these dogs, you're going to be a millionaire. Now we keep seeing the kennels, and they're saying, you know, who's going to be the next millionaire kennel? Who's going to be the millionaire kennel? You know what I mean? Yeah, Toby, I got actually 2 tribe males off of Tommy available. Yeah, you look on my page, you know, the one is very, very special, you know. So yeah, let me know, Toby. You can hit me up on the number that's on there, 346-292-6560. Yeah, real good blood, you know what I mean? But, you know, it's that dog is gonna be bad as fuck. I put up a post being an asshole, but it's the truth. Like, he's gonna be like when I sold Bison, when I sold Samson, it was a lot of dogs that I've sold throughout the years, Messiah, and everybody sort of bullshitted me on the dogs when they got approved, and then a year later, I wish I would have bought that dog. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Uno was one of those dogs. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but it is what it is. But you know, but people aren't, you know what I'm saying? People aren't making the money that people say they are. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Castro is sold. Castro is sold. You know what I mean? Eric says drop him off in Cali. You know what I'm saying? Much love, Eric. They're just not. Like, it's not, it's basic economics. These people are not making the money that they think. And I'm telling y'all, all you have to do is go buy your dog pound, your local dog pound, your local rescue, your local, and you'll see a lot of these exotics, a lot of these super dogs. They're telling you that these dogs are killing it. What are they killing? Where's the money behind these dogs? Why is it that when you go to exotic shows, you don't see everybody rolling up in Rolls Royces and you know what I'm saying, Lambos and different shit like that? Because you've got a million exotic breeders and they're all trying to convince everybody that they're selling dogs, and that goes for the extreme American bully people too. They're all telling you that they're all selling every puppy for $10,000 or more, and they breed like crazy. You know what I mean? You know, they breed like crazy. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like you have a few guys who you know what I'm saying? Hey, Rich, you know what I'm saying? You know, we'll get one in. You know what I'm saying? But you know, the thing of it is that the money is just not there, bro. I've been around too long. I see too much. I work with rescues. I see tons of exotics. I move on a weekly basis. We move probably 20 exotics. You know what I'm saying? And I know that doesn't sound like a ton, but think about, that's dogs that were given away. I move lilacs, I move merles, I move a lot of dogs where they were supposed to be big money dogs and people didn't sell them in the Houston area, and they gave these dogs away. I'm not saying that everybody, Bashar makes money. Bashar makes tons of money. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple brothers in the exotic community that I know is real cool with. They making money. But a lot of the people around them ain't making money. They're paying those dudes who are making the money, because it's just, this is the basic principle. If you look into the Ponzi scheme of way it works, is everybody can't be making that money. The guys at the top make that money. The guys at the bottom get stuck with the bill, because everybody's not going to keep buying exotics, just like everybody's not going to buy bullies. It's just some cats is going to get that bread. And you know what I mean? And if you, and I don't hate on people who are getting their money, but what is alarming is the idea of all these other people who are not getting the money, filling up shelters with these dogs. If somebody is making a nice dog and they make a ton of money, that is cool. You know, I've never had that problem with the exotic community. But the problem is if, you know, like Houston's introducing a law right now that if the dogs are deemed to be unhealthy, you know what I mean, they're gonna start charging people with that for intentionally breeding those dogs and charging them with a form of animal cruelty. This is how bad it's getting. The money is not adding up to the dogs. I have no doubt in my mind. Like, I seen what Bashar makes. You know what I mean? Not literally dollar for dollar, but Bashar will show you he making good money off his dogs. But 99.9% of these people are not making that money. If it was, everybody would quit their jobs. You would have hardworking people who going to the oil refineries and, you know what I'm saying, and working for Ford and General Motors and, you know what I'm saying, electricians. They would all be quitting their jobs just so that they could go breed puppies. You know what I mean? They would be clearing out their bank accounts to get them a couple nice dogs for breeding stocks, and they would just be selling puppies, because if everybody is selling puppies and it's that simple to sell puppies for 15, 20, 25 grand, everybody would do it. This is my problem with Kendrick Perkins. Kendrick Perkins is a full of shit liar. Kendrick Perkins is using his celebrity as a multi-millionaire TV analyst, former NBA basketball player, and NBA champion to turn into the world's biggest puppy mill. He has infomercials talking about his $1 million dog business, how much he sells the dogs for. You can do this too. I'm gonna make you a part of the family. Carry on. The fact that the part that Kendrick Perkins leaves out is that myself and nobody on this thing is Kendrick Perkins. Very few people are going to be able to have a big following to sell dogs like Kendrick Perkins is. People are not buying the dog from Kendrick Perkins. They're buying the dream from Kendrick Perkins. And the fact of the matter is they buy the dream, he gets the money. But how many people have you seen Kendrick Perkins carry on self, put on to the point that they making the same type of money that Kendrick Perkins is? None of them are. None of them have blown up in this. This is why you get a few guys in the American bully world who become very, very popular, whether it's very, very business savvy marketing with the different videos. Some of the videos, I know it's become a thing where people are like intentionally being ridiculous or funny because those videos go viral and it helps their things. But the thing of it is that this is very, very few people. When you talk about French Bulldogs, what's going on, OG? How you doing, Tony Smith? I've told people for real, go to Puppy Find and Pet Find, and you will see that there are plenty of French Bulldogs in any color you want, any phase you want or whatever, for $500. You can get them for next to nothing now because you had so many people who believe that their next big thing and their next big dream was going to be sold off the fact that these individuals could sell dogs and become multimillionaires, and they're not. The dogs are being put up there. What's going on, Rico? The dogs are being put out to the streets. The dogs are being put in kennels. These people are, I'm here to bust this myth. These people are not selling these dogs at this rate. I will give you guys an example. Dave Wilson, who sold out his own Razor's Edge line, decided to go over there and breed Oscar the Grouch, who was supposed to be the biggest extreme dog name out there now, Oscar the Grouch. Dave Wilson had those puppies, and he didn't have any requirements where he were turning people down. Nobody wanted to buy the dogs. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They put them on. Nobody wanted to buy the dogs, bro. You'd be surprised how much I know, how much in the loop I am with a lot of stuff, with some pretty big name breeders. You know what I'm saying, in the exotic world. But the exotic money is not. It's still a basic economic thing. The exotic money has always been there, but it's for select individuals. Like, hey, Rich, you can't make me believe that everybody in the exotic community is making big time money. That's just fake. That's fake, homie. Like, it's no business that works like that to where you can just keep buying the product and you're gonna find a ton of people to sell it to and get rich, or everybody would do it. Eventually the market has to tap itself out, and that's it. I believe that money is being thrown around in the exotic community. You know why? Because the exotic community, you know what I'm saying, has had big money being thrown around forever. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know what I mean? Here go one of these dudes. I didn't ask you to come on here, whoever your fake screen name is. We're talking about the game. If you don't like it, take your bitch ass on somewhere else. It's just that simple. You know what I mean? Talking about bitching about other men. No, we are not. We're talking about the flooding of a community. So, Toby, before you go, I will tell you what I'm bitching about. I'm bitching about San Antonio having to pass a bill of $30 million, which takes away from education, first response people, and everything else to deal with the flooding of their city from mostly our breeds of dogs. Let me turn this back on. Mostly our breeds of dogs. Keep in mind, I do work with rescues. I do put in over 3,000 miles a week saving dogs' lives of people who abandon dogs. The city of Houston currently can't even house all of the dogs that they're taking in, and have a mandated law to where they only pick up dogs that get called on them, because if they didn't, they would pick up so many dogs that they wouldn't have nearly enough room for them. They currently have a budget that's in the range of $16 million and are asking to double that and take money away from the rest of the city because they have a problem with these dogs being free and mauling people, even the small ones, the American bullies, the pit bulls, and different things of that nature. You know what I mean? It is what it is. This is a situation in our society. You talking about don't fall for it, you stupid son of a bitch. A whole country just banned these dogs. A whole entire country just banned these dogs. You know what I mean? A whole country. What are you talking about? If that ain't real enough for you, you dumb bitch, a whole country just banned these dogs. What are you talking about? What's going on, Lifestyle Fitness and Muay Thai? These cities and these countries, there are laws being passed. Let me tell you about something. You talking about don't fall for something. Before you even knew what an American bully was or knew how to spell American bully, we were the ones in these streets stopping BSL laws. We were the ones in Miami. We were the ones in Colorado talking and pushing forward. John Easterly was the one in Detroit pounding on tables and stopping them from banning these dogs. So while you motherfuckers come around here and y'all talk about how much money y'all make, we the ones who started this game, and we started for something that was real. We started to save a breed, to make something better, and y'all destroyed it. And that's what it is. You talking about fake. It's nothing faker than a person who pops off at the mouth, never created nothing, never did nothing, and comes on another man's live who's spitting real game and real facts and trying to save this community and keep on talking. Motherfucker, once again, and we got another fake person talking about stealing and this, that, and the other. It's so many people on here that can tell you they did business with me and my shit is solid. Y'all can keep trying to destroy my name, but you can't do nothing. Here we go with this shit. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I'll ban that motherfucker, because bottom line is that's just probably the same weird stalker motherfucker who got 50,000 pages, living in his mama's basement, dude up in Canada, weirdo shit. You know what I mean? And this is why this community is so fucked up. And I kicked him off, and he'll come back on with another page. This is a middle-aged man running around talking about, oh, Tone and Joel. And I ain't taking no shots at Tone and Joel because I already handled them. But don't tell me about nobody who's up here advertising and pumping up breeding dogs with health issues that you have to have surgeries on their throats. Don't come on here talking about that shit. We have a serious community problem. We have a serious problem. You ask the people in the UK, I don't respect Dave. No, me and Dave used to be in this shit together, and he told y'all that. It was my motherfucking money when Dave was still pulling plants and couldn't afford to do shit that was helping the ABKC get up off the ground and throwing major shows, dropping 30 and 40 and 50 grand. Don't tell me about the history of this breed. It was my bitch that was running around the ring winning the first titles, and it was me and my crew. And when I say me and my crew, I'm talking about the Elite Edge, and they did include other people, you know what I'm saying, the Gotti line, you know what I'm saying, the Dirty South crew, Byron and all those guys, Gray line. But we was the ones stomping this shit. So when you motherfuckers make YouTube titles and everything else just to try to get some clout, no, we really made dogs, and we really made a difference. And guess what? We made a breed that has become known worldwide. And the reason why I fight for it today is because I didn't sell out. I never took anybody's money. And that's one of the most ironic things that y'all do, because the guys that y'all look up to, they told y'all out your own mouth, whether it was Bashar, whether it was Khan on the live, whether it was Dave Wilson offering me to be the head of the ABKC and help fix everything. I always turn down sellout money because I have more morals than that, and my balls are not for sale. I don't kiss any rings, I don't kiss any boots, and if I feel like it's wrong, you can take your money and put that shit up your ass, because I came in a man and I'm gonna be a man and always walk away. I'll never make fake pages because I stand on who I am. Even when y'all talk that shit, I showed up to y'all shows, y'all called the police, you didn't want to face me like a man. This is the reality of the shit. When I tell y'all about what's going on with these dogs, I'm telling you because I care, not because I'm clout chasing. That's the difference. When I go live, I want a community to understand where we're at in this community. It's not just about the ABKC. It's not just about how the breed is being destroyed and the shows are getting small. They're not quite as popular. I do understand, Rich, that the exotic community is some boys that make. You will never hear me, not one day, tell any of y'all that some people ain't making some money. Bashar makes money. The brother makes money. Khan got so many people up his ass, he making money. You know what I'm saying? It's a few guys in the exotic community. You know, I actually went on vacation with a couple of those guys. They making money. But at the end of the day, when it boils down to it, Chubb has his first 2 litters in the stomach right now. Yes, sir. 2 of them confirmed. Yep. But, you know, at the end of the day, people are not making money and they're chasing a dream. And I'm being honest with y'all. They're chasing a dream. Ain't none of these dudes made the money that they thought that they could make. It's that simple. That's why it's so many. This is why there's an overpopulation. This is why veterinarians are now turning our dogs away. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, Hector, I have to address everything up and down. I would probably have even way better results if people stopped trying to troll every page. But I feel you. Much respect and much love on that. Bro, Rich, you telling me about one dog. How many dogs are created every year through the exotic community? Because I can tell you, I see 9 million breeders in the exotic community. I see a ton of dogs, and all y'all do is focus on one dog. That's like a lottery ticket, but what happens to the rest of them? That's the sad part. People tell you about Magoo, but when you have somebody like Bashar, which I know those are extremes, not exotics, people tell you, yeah, Magoo sold for $1 million. Magoo sold for $1 million. Okay. Well, if Nan did pay the $1 million, which I heard it was really 600,000, but if Nan did pay the $1 million for it, what's the end result of all of the thousands and thousands of dogs that Bashar openly brags that, you know, with his associates and everything he does, you know what I mean? It's thousands of dogs a year. Where do those dogs go? You know what I mean? Here go Eric. Now he's still in Chubb. That's my dude, man. I'm actually going to Cali next week. Anybody need any shipping from Cali to the East Coast, you know what I'm saying? Let me know. But you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some crazy prices for dogs. I've seen a couple brothers from China drop like 400,000 on the dog the one time. You know what I'm saying? But the thing of it is that, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Rich, we can get on here, but you know, but I'm telling you, I'm just gonna give you real statistics because we don't fall for that. That's the advertisement part of it, bro. That's the advertisement part of it. These brothers is not making this money that they say they're making. A few guys are getting it. You will hear me. You won't hear me say nobody is getting it. A few guys are getting it. But I'm telling you, we'll just stick to the American bully world on this side, right? How many muscle tone affiliates do y'all see that are saying they getting money like Bashar or anything close to it? In the exotic world, they'll show you a couple really big sales, and you know it's a couple guys who getting money because they're marketing geniuses and they doing their thing. But what about all those other people at the shows? What about all those weird dogs that we don't see their names? What about all the people who did fall for the thing to pay for their puppies? Where are those at now? You know what I mean? It's crazy. The breathing issues, the deformities in the joints. Right now, the exotic community has a bigger problem because, and I literally just listened to this, right? This is the way that higher authorities view the exotic community. For one of the scariest parts about this community in general is that some people are not that smart in this community because now this wasn't our DEA, but when y'all saw that report over in England when they were talking about the cocaine king and all of that stuff of England, who was one of Bashar's affiliates, it was a muscle tone thing. What was it, Muscle Tone UK or whatever the case may be. In that documentary, they told you it was the equivalent to what are our DEA FBI agents, that there's an international investigation for money laundering. Our community keeps on bragging about all this money that's being thrown around on these dogs in very suspect ways at times. That's the first big red flag. The second big red flag is, and I'm going to use that documentary as an example, because anytime a TV show on a big station and it went worldwide does a thing talking about how abusive we are and the way that the dogs are deformed. Y'all remember the dog that had his legs turned backwards? Bro, These people are trying to pass laws to make that animal abuse. Not only that, it has caught the attention of places like PETA and other animal rights places who are like putting big pressure on our veterinarians. Don't act like y'all don't know or it hasn't affected your area, because y'all know a lot of your veterinarians are cutting off business with the bully community in general, and it's coming at the advice of their attorneys. This shit is real, bro. And y'all keep acting like somebody's lying or trying to get over on y'all in some kind of way. This shit is very, very real, that this community is under attack by higher forces. The laws are starting to change. A lot of places are doing the licensing laws to where you have to have a license to be a breeder. Other places are limiting the number of dogs you have. Other places are flat out saying that they are banning the breeds again and going out full out BSL. At what point in time does this community stop bragging about the money that they're making, stop making all these videos, trying to do the marketing thing, and really look at the fact that the breed is under attack? That that people with a lot more authority and a lot more money is making moves. I'm telling y'all this, and this is the truth, man. I told somebody about this, and I won't put everybody's business out, but this is the truth. One Thursday morning, I seen an individual, very, very wealthy man who cared so much about animals that he wrote a 6-figure check just to give an animal rescue a van to save animals. A 6-figure check, just, take this. Make sure these animals are together. But there's a lot of those type of individuals. And when these individuals with these very deep pocketbooks, let's just say that, y'all brag about 250, oh, he sold a dog for 250,000. This man wrote a check for probably that like it was nothing, because he cares about animals. Not because he's shaking the hand of the devil and he's greedy and he wants money out of it. He's giving this out of the kindness of his heart, which is a way, way stronger inspiration and motivation to make sure that these things don't keep on happening. Some of the owners of some of these major pro sports teams, which of course that makes them billionaires, money longer than train smoke, have taken interest in the way that we are doing in our community. The feds have taken interest in the way that we are doing business in this community. It's a lot of bad things going on, and we have a huge spotlight on this community. You know what I mean? The muscle tone dogs are missing a lot. Muscle tone dogs have been reported having 5th-degree heart murmurs in some of the European countries and were denied. And there's a falsification of medical records as to how they got there, which is also an infraction, which is also now being red flagged, because a lot of breeders in the States, because their dogs can't pass a proper physical, are actually forging the documents and sending these animals overseas, which is breaking laws as far as export and import. It's a lot going on, and we don't care, because our community feels that we can get away with anything as long as we're making money. We have people bragging about selling drugs and laundering all of their money through these things. Now you can say, oh, that's just cap and that's just a joke. It doesn't matter when we know that it's happening for a fact, and it's been happening, and they're investigating this. What I'm telling you, what's going on, man? You know what I'm saying? What I'm telling you is that we're lining ourselves up to see this community hit with the level of sanctions and the level of attention that we've never seen before. And for all intents and purposes, they may stop this. There are registries, there are show hosts who have tried to sign up for certain places. You know, I was one of those that put in a couple calls here recently and told they refuse, absolutely 100% refuse to deal with anybody that is even remotely close to the American bully community. These are all serious matters. It's not, I get so tired of stupid people talking about, oh, you hating on this and that and the other. It's not about another man. I could give a fuck about another man. I came here giving a fuck about the breed. The same reason why I turned all that money down, and the same reason why I turn people down when they try to buy my dogs, is because I'm a dog man. I care about it. Y'all hear my dogs whining in the back. Those are Rottweilers. Those are imported. top of the line Rottweilers that great friends of mine put in my hand, not because I was rich, not because they owed me a favor, but because I'm a dog man. Could have easily sold those dogs for $7,500 a pop. Easily. With proper marketing, they would have easily gone for $7,500. Top-notch blood, but we're dog men around here. You know what I mean? 405, I've been telling them for years. I told them, a friend of mine, you know what I mean? No, I'm telling you, Mr. Allen. And now think about this, and this is something that I can stand on, right? And I've been telling people this for a while. Before that report came out, if you watch this page, I told y'all that it was a federal investigation, a large-scale federal investigation in racketeering, money laundering, amongst some other things that are going on in this community, connecting a lot of dots to a lot of people that go back to other people, and literally across the board, some people are going to face charges. I told them this years ago. I have sources. I have people who know things. They told me this. They told me this. I'm very, very cool with these. I don't tell y'all everybody that I've ever dealt with or sold a dog to. I never would. You know why? Because I don't want them to face the scrutiny and the harassment that many of you try to put me through. So I never would. Was just at an NFL player's house. When was that? A weekend ago. You know what I mean? A very well-known NFL player. You know what I mean? Been kicking it with homie for a year. Got another, you know, a few Cleveland Browns that I know. You know what I'm saying? Got a few Cowboys that I know. And I keep everything very, very much on the low, and we talk in different ways. A lot of it's just talking. But but one of the reasons why I keep my people, I've sold dogs to congressmen, one senator, you know what I mean? I know a lot of people. At the end of the day, I get some pretty decent information. I'm not just some like, what's going on, Blackout? I'm not just some kind of, you know, what they call, you know, psychics where I rub my head. No, I got some people. You know what I mean? Mr. Allen, they so crazy. They floss too much. They show too much, and they act like this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Hey, stay up, downtown rich, God bless. You know what I'm saying? They show too much. It's like they violate the rules. Like that everybody is street smart, but they violate every rule of the game. They showing way too much. And you know the feds go right back and say, okay, you're bragging about selling this dog for 50,000, 100,000 or whatever. Where's the paperwork on this dog? Where did the money come from? How much did you pay on this dog? Would that same person that you got the dog from happen to be a part of this investigation for this? And is he connected to that? That's the way the RICO laws go. You don't have to actually be doing it. You just have to be connected. And if you're connected in committing a crime, you get every other crime with everybody else. And then they put that pressure on you. And eventually, of course, most of these guys are going to start telling what they know. Well, I really didn't do this. It was he did it. And before you know it, yeah, we got indictments on everybody. Everybody's going to get in a little bit of trouble. And it is what it is. Oh, sucker free. You ain't never lied. Health testing it should be mandatory at every level. You know what I'm saying? But it's a sad state of affairs that we're in right now, to where people just flat out don't care, man. No matter which way we put this, people don't care, you know? They've said as much, they've showed as much, and they continue to do it. Yeah, because, RICO tie you down in every which way. You got a chance to beat a murder case. RICO, they gonna tie your ass down because everybody gonna tell eventually. That's just the way shit is. That's why they love the RICO case, because eventually everybody tells. You're gonna get a couple of people who standing strong, but the evidence is gonna be so heavy against them because everybody's gonna tell. If y'all think that when the motherfucking IRS kick in one of these dudes' doors who've been bragging about selling dogs for 25,000, 50,000, you know, putting stacks of money on the table, this, that, and the other, and they got the DEA with them, and they got this and that and the other with it. If y'all think them dudes gonna hold strong, okay. Just the fact that they out here on the internet putting out all their business and showing out lets me know they ain't standing strong for shit. You know what I mean? Sucker free, it should always be about bitches is the foundation of what you do as a breed, y'all. That's just it. You know what I'm saying? Breeding, like, you know, I always used to tell them motherfuckers, You give me three bad bitches and I'll do the rest. You give me three bad bitches and I'll do the rest. I'll put together a whole entire dynasty off of three bad bitches. Because you can always find the appropriate stud. If you get those bad bitches in your yard, you'll find the appropriate stud. You know what I'm saying? You really, if you give me one legendary bitch, hey, I've done it before. I can build a dynasty off that shit. It's unfortunate that, you know, my ass went to the penitentiary and things just fell apart because I planned on taking Hallie. I would have built a whole series. Y'all think I talk shit now. Hallie, well, initially she got bred the little row, and that litter, my dumb ass, not checking, they had put out pesticides, and that little row litter died. That little row litter, like on face value, looked better than the litter that Denzel came out of. Then after that, I didn't get to do any other ones, but she was supposed to go to Remy, she was supposed to go to Hef, and she was supposed to go to De Niro. Hey, have a good one, Tone Smith. You know what I'm saying? But you can build a dynasty off of that. The problem that we have in our community is most people just don't understand dogs anymore. You know what I'm saying? We don't understand what we're looking at. We don't understand line breeding. Most people truly don't understand line breeding in the fact that they think that it's line breeding, but it's actually what they're doing is more close to inbreeding. And that inbreeding is causing a problem in the dogs. See, one of the problems is that we are negating the back end of the pedigree. A lot of people are talking about the pedigrees. Oh, I know the pedigrees. I study the pedigrees. Well, if you no, Hef wasn't her litter mate. Hef was Marco's girl's litter mate. What's that bitch's name? Somebody help me out. But Marco had Hef's litter mate sister. It wasn't Chili Pepper. Which one was it? It's one of them bitches. I'm getting old, man. I can't remember all these names. Too many dogs. But see, like, this is one of the problems that happened with Razor's Edge blood that most people didn't understand. Is that a lot of people thought that they were line breeding Razor's Edge blood, but all of the Edge dogs were related. And the more that they kept thinking that they were line breeding, they pulled the genetics closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. And you were really just inbreeding the dogs. That's why y'all used to hear those things talking about, you get a lot of kinks when you go too crazy on yeah, that Embark is a great tool, I'm gonna tell you that. I really like it, honestly. Yeah, I really like it. I hope I can get a contract done with them. But you know, the pedigrees is like well, James Galloway, now you talking too much. You hush your mouth over there. What's going on, my brother Mike? But you know what I'm saying? What's going on, Kidian? Rastafari greetings. Much love, my brother. One of the biggest problems, like they say, we don't know the pedigrees. So if we don't know the pedigrees, we are in trouble. Like that was, but you know, to be honest with y'all, to tell y'all the story with Razor's Edge, that was one of the biggest problems. And some of y'all have heard me tell this story before, so forgive me, but a lot of the dogs with the Edge family were not the dogs that they said they were. It was paper hanging down on a lot of levels. Cairo is a lot of dogs' dads that they didn't say was, you know, Cairo dogs. That's one of the problems, because when a lot of people were breeding something, thinking they're going away from Cairo, like I'm gonna go away from Cairo, then I'm gonna come back to Cairo, when really they bred Cairo to Cairo, then came back to Cairo, because and y'all would say, well, why would you do that? Y'all have to remember back in our times when we first started. Here we go. I knew they was gonna bring up East Coast Man first. Don't be telling Cairo's alias, well, one of his aliases, but one of the problems is our original dogs were mostly pit bulls. Like, they were really pit bulls. So it was very, very hard for us to get bullier dogs. You would only get one a litter, maybe two a litter. Well, Cairo did have the ability, because he was so big, so muscular, his phenotype carried on, you know, through his genotype and made some badass dogs, you know what I mean? I don't know if there's any Pokemon frozen available. I imagine it has to be some frozen somewhere, but I've never seen anybody post it available. Or Castillo's. I would have been right with you, lined up to try to see what was up with it. So if y'all know of any, hey, let us know. I'll pass the message on. See, Mike, that's what I get. I get more, y'all excuse the bitter face. This is green tea, honey and lemon. Good for the system, but kills the taste bud. But you know, but it made it very, very hard because Cairo was the, you know, that show where the Secret Singer or whatever it is where they come out with the costume on. Cairo was the secret producer, you know, because I mean, if you know guys from back in the day, they will tell you, you know what I'm saying, that I don't know what they could do. If somebody's trying to clown Denzel, they probably make a fool out of themselves. You know what I'm saying? But but one of the biggest issues with the dogs was just the simple fact, like I say, Cairo was in so many of the dogs that because we had all those pit bulls, you know what I mean? That was the version of paper hanging. No one wanted to go and have bulldogs back then. But Cairo was used incredibly, and he's not the only one. But there were very few dogs that could throw real bully dogs, you know what I mean? It was a problem. When you hear people talk about, we basically puppy mill back then. You had to have a lot of litters because you got a lot of pit bulls. It was hard to, you know, just go for you know what I'm saying, selective breeding and get the dogs that you wanted. You kept on getting a lot of more pit bull, leaner, athletic dogs, and it made it hard. So the dogs who did it on a regular basis became very, 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 very popular. That was one of the reasons why Gotti got to be so popular. If you looked at Gotti's face, you know what I mean, it was more terrier. Very big, broad, you know, the broad base of his head, but his muzzle was more terrier. But gee whiz, when it came to Gotti, he had that body, he had those shoulders, and he produced it. This is how Gotti line was created, because he was one of those anomalies that made it happen. You know what I mean? He really, really made it happen. Now, some of the dogs, if you look back in hindsight, that you would think would have been great dogs and they would have been super, super bully, they don't look that bully today. If you look at a dog like Thing in our time was just like, shit, that's a monster. Nowadays, he looks like a basic XL. You know what I mean? A basic XL with a kink tail. No, I'm not going to clone Denzel. I don't really believe in cloning. I feel like if you're a breeder and you got some skill, what do you need to clone for? If you got the blood in your yard, you know what I mean, what do you need to clone for? That's the whole thing of the skill of what we do. What we do is make dogs. Look how many dogs I've made that look like Denzel, or that, you know, greatly favored them by playing with the genetics. You know what I mean? That's the skill level that we should have as breeders, to where we should never rely on a test tube for anything more than trying to get hard to breed bitches to breed, if that was the case. You know what I mean? Sucker Free, I don't really think we'll ever get an official word on how Grimm really passed. You've heard a multitude of things. I've heard everything from a pulmonary embolism to you know, of course, the breathing thing. It was something else that they said. Oh yeah, the bladder infection. There's many different things. I think the brother Sam had posted up the ecropsy or whatever. So that might be the official cause of death. You know what I'm saying, if that's correct. But I'm not trying to beat up on them. But the idea that a dog can die of a bladder infection, it makes you wonder, how negligent is that? How long do you let a bladder infection go before it kills your dog? I mean, this is one of the reasons somebody asked me, is that normal? No, one of the reasons why you never hear of dogs dying of bladder infections is because no one ever lets it really get that bad. And I'm not taking shots. It's just not a normal thing to die of a bladder infection. You know what I mean? Yeah, James, that's what I'm saying. That's super easy to fix. That's why it's still, I have a very hard time accepting that is the reason that dog died. Like, it's basic antibiotics. You can get rid of that shit in like 2 or 3 days. Dog will be totally back to normal in 2 or 3 days. Man, y'all hit like. We got what, 38, 40 people. You know. Yeah, I mean, Sucker Free, he was being transparent, but it still leads you to wonder, how did it get to that level? You know what I mean? If that's what it is, then how does it get to that level? Because I've owned dogs. What's going on, Jesus? I've owned dogs for a very, very, very long time. And sometimes we believe in transparency, but sometimes maybe transparent is just this transparent story that they want to give us, because it does not. Reno, I got the allergies going. I got a lot of shit going on over here. Been traveling all damn week and night and everything else. What's going on, Terrence? Yeah. So the allergies. That's why I'm drinking this tea. This tea is holding me in there, baby. This tea is holding me in there. By the way, hey, y'all hit like, and if you ain't subscribed, subscribe. We're gonna be going live a lot more. If y'all want to send any donations, man, through Cash App or Venmo, I posted them things up. And by the way, I greatly appreciate it if y'all do this time, cause shit, they keep locking my damn card. It would seem like after weeks of me trying to do this transporting thing for people and their pets, that they would figure out I'm going to use my card in a bunch of different places. And like an idiot, I forgot I was transferring the money to my Cash App card. But yeah, they locked my card. They worked out. I got great friends who was trying to take care of me, man, because good Lord, I miss the days of cash, man. Hey Zeus, I actually got some rest. You know I can't breathe, man. I've actually got some rest. That's why I'm still in Florida. You know what I mean? It is hard. It's hard. It's hard. You know what I'm saying? To believe that a dog dies of a bladder infection. It just is, man. And y'all, and yeah, I know everybody like, y'all gotta get some rest. This is the way my eyes look a lot of times. That's why I'm always wearing sunglasses. I think I told y'all this before, and this is the saddest shit. For me being an international dog man, I'm allergic to dogs. Y'all think I'm fucking with y'all? Where's my bag? Somewhere in my bag, I got my EpiPen. But this is how I typically travel. Most of the time I take what's this stuff? Colostrum. Which my colostrum is in here somewhere. But at all times, because of my allergies, I'm always gonna have these Zyrtec. Somewhere in there it's like some Benadryl or some shit. I'm not gonna pull all this shit out. Look, y'all think I'm fucking with y'all. Hold on, is that in there? Dang, I don't know where it's at. I was gonna show y'all. I got some old school shit, right? Look, eye drops. Yeah. So yeah, so y'all don't think I'm always sleepy. Nah, the reality is I'm fucked up over here and I can't breathe because I love my dog so much and I love dogs in general that I deal with it, but I'm allergic to it. Where's my thing at, man? I wanted to show y'all this motherfucker. I'll find it. Y'all remember the old Vicks thing where you put it up your nose and you snort it like Pablo Escobar or some shit? I got one, but I don't know where it's at. That motherfucker worked too. It hits you. It's like smelling salt. You be like, I don't know where I don't know where that motherfucker at. I was so excited to find one because, okay, I'm just gonna let it go. I think it probably fell under the seat. But yeah, you do just like that. I put it in my nose, boom, I take a hit, then I take a hit another one, and I'm good to go. And it is beautiful. What's a good number to do an AI? I'm gonna tell you like this. When it comes to AI, I can still, he said I use that all around. I love that little mug. I hit that mug, I'll be ready. And somewhere in here, it fell, man. I don't know where my little baby is at. I just had it. I hope I didn't lose that motherfucker. Cause I like to use that, we still talking about allergy shit, but I like to use that little Vicks thing because it worked like, you know, it opened you right up without having to take medications and shit, you know. I'm sorry, I'll be diverting. This the way that progesterone testing should always be. You know what I'm saying? Generally, at a 3.5 to 4, if the female is there, you would start breeding. You know what I mean? And it's off of I'm gonna get back. I'm trying to stay on, but answer the question. Ronaldo is actually off of Jeb Thome's boy Blue. You know what I mean? So he's a great balance of the majority of edge blood, but he does have some of the Gotti stuff on the back end side. You know what I mean? So I'm not so thrilled about the Gotti stuff, but smaller percentages I'll deal with it. Hey, y'all gonna break out or what? But now the progesterone testing, I'm sorry to get back on track. 3.5 to 4 if the male is there, right? If you are sending semen, you would want to breed at a 5. This is generally the way it's been known for years. At a 5 on a progesterone test, that's when the eggs drop. Now, the eggs drop, but they're not actually able to be fertilized for another 48 hours. So this is why what'll happen is that if you're doing a surgical, the veterinarian will at times wait like 2 days after the 5 because the semen is being directly deposited on top of the eggs. Of course, transcervical, very similar. They'll wait a little bit longer. But if you are doing a typical AI, they will start at that 5 and have no problem with it, because even though the tube is going up in there and all of that good stuff, the semen still has about a day of swimming towards the cervix to do. So the time, it's all about timing. Max, them little I can't deal with them. I got a couple packs of meat up here for them. I'm gonna feed them and, you know, walk them at the rest stop before you know, before I lay it down for the night. But yeah, it's yeah. Always your timing, sucker free. 5. The number 5 is always the number to remember, because that's the time when the eggs drop. Within 48 hours, they will be ready. Since most of us end up shipping the semen, you'll probably do it right around that time. You know, right around the 5. But if you're hitting right around that 5, keep in mind, studies have shown that semen lives 7 to 10 days inside the female. So it's just, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. I've had probably only in all these years maybe 3 breedings take when I did when I did proper progesterone testing and timed it up properly. Literally, and that's probably a couple hundred breeds over 20 years. You know, with all these breeds, I don't know, I doubt if it's a couple hundred, but it's probably well over 100 breedings and over 20 years, that's for sure. And I've only had 3 that didn't take. I've only had I've had 2 surgicals now that didn't take. One of them is heartbreaking because that was the second bistro breeding that went to hold on, I'm sorry, that was the actual sway to Mandela's littermate sister that didn't take, and they screwed that up because she bubbled up on there. They did something wrong to her cervix. But yeah, most times when you're on time on your breedings, it'll always take. You know what I mean? It'll always take. If you're on time, you'd rather be early than late. Of course, late, the eggs are dead. It doesn't matter. If you get that son of a bitch there right around 5, I'm telling you, you batting about 90%. You know what I'm saying? And don't be alarmed if some of your doctors say, hey, I want to wait till 10 or I want to wait till 12 to inseminate the female. They're just sort of trying to time up when the eggs are able to be fertilized, not dropped. So that's one of their things where we'll wait to this time, we'll wait to that time, because they want to make sure that they're able to be fertilized at that time, since the semen doesn't have far to swim. I use the I know the name of it. It's the same machines that the veterinarians use. they measure in those things of like they start off at 0.2. I forget the name of the measurements. Then they go up to 1.2. Then you hit 2. Usually once the bitch hits a 2, she starts to spike pretty fast. I'll have to remember. I can send it to you on Facebook, the actual measurements. But those measurements do work. I'm telling you, they work great. Most veterinarians use that. I don't know if that's nanos or too much in the brain, but sucker free. I get it right though. But yeah, a lot of veterinarians go by those numbers. And actually, if you look up, there's some great articles for all of y'all. If you just Google Dr. Hutchinson, you can put Dr. Hutchinson canine breeding. You'll get some seminars to where Hutch is going over this stuff. And Hutch is going over this stuff at a high level, man. Some of those seminars are like, I'm glad y'all putting that shit up there, man. Thank you, Grouchy Smurf. But Hutch is putting his hands down on the breeding process in a heavy way in some of them seminars. It's a lot of reading, but he's one of the he actually just retired not too long ago, but he's one of the most renowned breeding specialists in the entire world. He has a very, 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 very good handle on all of that stuff, man. So it's a great thing, man. It's a great thing. Yeah, Dr. Hutchinson. He's out of Ohio. Yeah, great articles. I need to post some of those articles. I've been reading some of his stuff, and he hasn't had really any new stuff in quite some time, so it's all old articles and stuff. But yeah, it really put me on point. Even when I was at the university, it put me on point. Dude's a genius. Yeah, sucker free. Whoosh, that's some strong shit. That's probably the same machine. You know what I'm saying? That's probably the same machine because the majority of people are going to use that machine that counts that way. I have a machine at home that counts the same way. You put it, you put the blood in the centrifuge after you pull it. Go ahead and drip it on the thing that looks like a pregnancy test without the long end. Poop. Put it in the machine. About 45 minutes later, it throws you out those same numbers. And very, very effective. Very, very effective machine. But that's all you want to do is if your timing is good on the breeding, man, you're going to be on point, You're going to be on point. A lot of people mess up by waiting too long. Hi, Reno said it's time to get you some rest, man. I probably go to sleep in a couple hours, man. I've actually been sleeping all day, man. Yeah, I got a home progesterone test machine. Yeah, I got a home progesterone test machine. I got a home progesterone test. I got centrifuges, man. I have all that shit. I got some shit I ain't supposed to have, but that's a different story for a different day. But yeah, that stuff is you know what I mean. You can get the progesterone machines at home. My favorite car, if I had to have a favorite car, I would say the Rolls Royce. What's that? The Wraith. Yeah, the very, very large 2-door coupe. One day, they actually suspended that car because everything is going green now, and it has such horrible gas emissions and stuff like that. They got rid of it. And come on, Tupac or Easy, you gotta go Tupac. But what's the kibble news, Max? Don't start no shit, man. I've been using that one food. What is it called? Kinetic or whatever, that kinetic stuff. The dogs love that shit, man. And they poop like a brick. So, but yeah, I went over to that because your food, what is it, Earthborn? I can only get 1 or 2 bags at a time of that. My dogs blow through that shit. You know what I'm saying? Blow through it. Hey, I pray every day, man. Look, we got some easier Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg. Max, what is your food information? Man, we're not about to start just say Iranian stuff again. I have to take some of that stuff off of there. I'm not I stay away from politics as much as possible. Man, I stay away from it as much as possible. Let me see what else we got going on. What the hell? He said Dave Chappelle. Man, this page is getting crazier and crazier. Just out of nowhere, Dave Chappelle. You said Earthborn Don and switched up on the. I'm through with you, man. y'all tell Max about the food shit, cause I don't know. John Smith, if you were just buying a dog starting off, I would always go with the female first, to be honest. Unless you know it's just your homie and you want a nice dog around the house and stuff, then hey, male or female. I like the male because they're a little more impressive physically. But yeah, if you're talking program wise, I would always try to get me a female first, because it leaves the world open for you as far as what other studs you can use with that female. Whereas once you got a stud, if the stud is not up to par, the first thing you're gonna do is you're like, damn, what I'm gonna do with this fool? You know, I don't want to breed him to the bitch. I don't have many options. Whereas the female, you got a lot better options down the way. What the hell are we talking about here? I have no idea. I'm lost on these conversations. Yeah, I love the 50% raw. I've been doing that for a while. It was this Walmart by the house. They had the chicken quarter bags, 10-pound bags. They had those bags on sale for $2. Needless to say, I have a lot of it. What is it? What is it? What happened? What is it? What is y'all going off about gay people for? I'm just, and I have no problem with gay people, by the way, but I'm just, my eyes look up for 1 second, and next thing I know, I hear y'all talking about. I see y'all talking about gay people. Hey, man, this shit goes awry fast as hell, man. We go from talking about dog food. We done talked about progesterone. Next thing you know, man, this food always got gay folks on there. Look, there's nothing wrong with gay people, man. You know what I'm saying? It's wrong with fucked up people. You know what I'm saying? They said get Cruz out. Oh, God. Man, bro, hell no. Oh yeah, I feed chicken with the bone there. I'm sorry, John. They got me so fucked up. I thought you said fried chicken with the bone. I was like, hey, that's why I said hell no. Good Lord, man. I tell you what, it is special. It is happy birthday, Triple C. Do I have a girl? Yeah, I got a girl. Right now, anyway. Who knows what tomorrow brings, the way people act. Good Lord, they said I'm an LGBT. I tell you what, I take no offense. If I'm an icon in the gay community, not even being gay, guess what? Much love to my folks, man. You know, I don't know what y'all doing, man, but where in the hell is this? You know what? What the fuck? Talking about, have you ever shared your pants? You know what? I'm gonna tell you what. Y'all are crazy as hell, and this page is just like then went crazy. So I'm gonna talk dogs while y'all go crazy with these weird conversations at the bottom of the screen. Y'all have at it. You know what I mean? Y'all have at it. It is a great day. Yeah, it's wild as hell. They said, dog, this chat is wild. I don't even know what the fuck happened to the chat. I'm reading the chat, and I'm sorry, y'all, that I'm not being entertaining. I'm reading the chat, and the chat is just going in. This is by far the most, now they talking about glory holes. This is by far the most entertaining chat that I've ever seen. It's very peculiar, but it's, oh, man, and Justin going right along with him. But back to dogs, and I'm not even gonna look at the chat because the Denzel breeding, I'm hoping to do it sometime very, very soon, Jesus. The female she's a nut. Yeah, I'm hoping that we can get that breeding done in the next month or so. That female is supposed to be in heat. She's not coming, but she's just now supposed to come in the heat. So the other girls are coming in the heat. So I will be very glad to get her. I actually have to get her a rabies shot. No, my car wasn't a Hellcat. I actually gave that car to my son. But but the thing of it is that man, hey, I just let y'all have at it with this tag. Now we got Ed, what's his name, Shaheen or Shireen. We got we got all kind of shit going on in the chat. You know what I mean? If I gain 150 pounds, I can tell them I'm Busta Rhymes. Hey, one thing about it is, when they go back and read this chat, they're gonna say, what the fuck happened? But I'm gonna not look at the chat so I can focus, because y'all crazy as hell down there right now. You know what I mean? I'm not reading it. But what I was saying, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to the dog stuff, is that we're sort of at a breaking point with this thing. You know what I mean? We can go crazy. We can have as much fun as we want to have. We can talk as crazy as we want to have. But we do have a serious problem, and the problem is going to come down to the fact that we are at a point that they're going to ban the dogs. Not only are they going to ban the dogs, but we're going to get to a point where the dogs no longer can exist. It is a scary time in a lot of ways, because a lot of us go by day to day and we don't pay attention to what's going on as far as big picture go. But the more that this thing goes on, the more that you will come to find out is that the dogs are very, very close to being banned nationwide, you know? Jesus, I've asked that question a million times. Everybody says that you're hating. I just don't know how a dog dies of a bladder infection. It is one of, like, and I had a video, and I think I may have erased it if I didn't put it up, but whatever. Like, a bladder infection is like so easy to cure. So if this is the reason that this dog is dead, it's still a lot of answers that need to be had, because my God, like, it's a basic antibiotic. A bladder infection can easily be cured by one of the most basic antibiotics. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not one of those things that needed a bunch of work. So I would be interested to know how long, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. If it's left untreated, it can kill you. They always tell you that, but I think that, yeah, and I hated to say it, but y'all said it, that's neglect, man. I don't know how the fuck long you let a bladder infection go along that it kills the dog. That's pretty heavy right there. And one of the saddest parts about that is that nobody even talks about that. You know? Our community is so weird that we have just got to the point that we accept it. That is the reason, like, you know what I mean? Y'all crazy down there. But we accepted that dog died of a bladder infection like it was nothing. We had no questions. We didn't get upset the least bit. You know, it immediately went to how big of a dickhead Khan is, you know what I mean? and it was what it was. I mean, if you're here to troll, Denzel, first of all, is dead. But what Denzel had, and so we can really explain medical conditions, is Denzel had a he had a tear in one of the veins on the shaft of his dick. So therefore, when his dick got hard and all the blood rushed to there, sometimes that small hole would open up and he would bleed from it. He did not have bloody piss. He did not have bloody semen. This is one of the reasons why he's one of the greatest producers to ever live, because there was actually nothing wrong with his semen at all. He actually had a very, very high quality of semen, which reached over 2 billion. Even the person who tried to slander me had to admit himself that his own veterinarian told him to take half of the semen and then freeze the other half, because this dog was producing semen like he had never ever seen before. You know what I mean? Yeah, Denzel died old as hell. You know, and the saddest part is that you still have people who want to come on my page and talk shit about my guy because y'all don't want to hear the truth about health. That's sad. It's sad where y'all at, that, you know, in this community, y'all accept everything but the truth. The truth of the matter is that these dogs are sickly. The truth of the matter is that we've seen dogs die at shows. You know what I mean? And we've seen a lot of young dogs who weren't at the show die. We see a community that's just dying. You know? We see a community that's just dying. You know? I appreciate it, you know? I mean, Denzel was what Denzel was. I think one of the, and not just saying Denzel, but I think one of the saddest parts, right, of our day-to-day life with dogs is that in this community, most people aren't used to them getting old. So the process of a dog aging is lost on this community. You know what I mean? Was that just yesterday we had somebody who kept on asking me for pictures of Mandela. He's old now. I don't want to put up pictures. You know what I mean? I put up many videos and I talked about the bond that a person has with a dog, and it's sad. It's one of the most crushing things for me. You know, I think on that video, and I erased that video because it was tough for me. It's been tough. Like, I've never told people this, but even with Denzel was dead a couple weeks before I even told anybody. It was some trauma for me. You know what I mean? I wrote, you know, when Denzel did die, what was I, 43? And you had to think about that. For me, at 43 years old, I had him from the time I was 28 years old. You know what I mean? Up until that time, I'd had his mother, you know what I'm saying? Which started a lot younger than that. So you're talking about in a 20-year span, I had 2 dogs, you know what I mean? I had other dogs in there, but these were my main 2 dogs. And the process of watching your dog get old is it's strange, you know what I mean? Because unlike people, they age faster, you know what I mean? They age faster, they age fast as a motherfucker, you know? And I can tell y'all this, you know what I mean? Y'all wonder why I get so passionate sometimes, but I get passionate sometimes because my real connection with my dogs, and it hasn't been the same for a while. You know, I've been discouraged with a lot of things, so I'm just being honest and being very transparent when I say that I don't think I do as well with my dogs as I used to, just because you know, the game has changed for me, you know. And one of the things that I wanted to do is to get back to just being a dog person. You know what I mean? I enjoy it. That's why I got my little Rottweilers. That's why I really like to do the shipping thing also, because you get back to it. I feel like that you lose a part of yourself. You know what I mean? And in dealing with this community, I know I lost a big part of myself in dealing with this community, because this community is different from the way that I look at it. I actually love dogs. I don't think a lot of people in this community actually love dogs. I think a lot of people in this community love attention. I think a lot of people in this community are infatuated with fast money. I think a lot of people are, a little bit of both, money, but I don't think they love dogs. The way that you see it is, it's a strange thing, because you have two different factions that are really, really butting heads in a lot of ways. And sometimes that's why it gets somewhat heated, because it would bother me. What's going on, Dave? It would bother me if my dog couldn't breathe. You know what I mean? It would be somewhat of a problem to me if my dog couldn't breathe. When my dog was in pain, it bothered me. You know what I mean? In many ways, I think it sort of screwed me up that I get anxiety dealing with dogs after a while. But these people don't. You know what I mean? Exactly. They'll breed a dog with a heart murmur. They'll breed, you know what I mean? Whatever the case may be. And like I say, I've had this talk with myself recently to get over this thing, but I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I think by Denzel dying, I think I was somewhat traumatized. You know what I mean? Because it was just a hell of a thing for me, And you start to separate the two things, as far as being a breeder, as far as being on YouTube, as far as judging and everything. And you go back and you revert to a place that's real, and you realize that, damn, this dog was like my son. I started looking through the pictures, and all kind of memories come back. Some of y'all have seen the picture when Denzel was very big and young and looking good, and he was with my oldest son, Tyrell, and I think Tyrell at that time was, if I'm not mistaken, go back, Tyrell was about 8 or 9, the same age that Max is now. You know what I mean? And then you have pictures of Max, sleeping with Denzel. And then you have pictures of Easy, and Easy's putting his feet in Denzel's face. And you start to realize, like, geez, my oldest son is 22, and my youngest son just turned 6, but their dog was the same dog. And it's cool in many ways, because my oldest son, his other dog was also Denzel's mother, Hallie. But it lets you know that they're family. You know what I mean? You see the kids get attached to them, and it's strange, because they'll bring them up sometimes, not in the worst way, but they have their moments. You know what I'm saying? And you realize that while for me, Denzel was different, because we spent so much time together. He was always with me. He was always the house dog. And, went to all these places, and he was a star. You know what I'm saying? He was known all over the world, got kids all over the world. He got a lot going on. He had a lot going on, but at the same time, at his very, simple essence, he was my kid's pillow and the dude that they sleep with at night. You know what I mean? And then you look at, now Chubb, has filled in mightily to there. Mandela has filled in throughout his years, and now, those years are coming, and it's a process, and I think people miss it, and they don't have that feeling, they don't have that connection, and I'm, and this is me just trying to rationalize everything, because I don't want to get into arguments with people. So sometimes I just sort of rationalize that when you have these people who come like on my page and they want to talk shit and rah this and that and the other, and they talking about their dogs, I do have to rationalize the fact that, you know what I mean, they don't care about their dogs. You know what I mean? They just flat out don't care about their dogs. You know, when you have some of us, like I've seen Max. When I met Max the first time, he came with his dogs and his family in the car, and the kids were with the, you know, the with everybody, and it was a beautiful thing. It was a family thing. You know what I mean? I've known like Jesus raises his dogs with his family and his nieces and his nephews, and it's a family affair. You know, Unc got a dog, this person got a dog. It's a caring and it's a nurturing environment where you really can't buy their dogs. You know, if you go to them and you say, hey man, let me get this and that and the other, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, you know what I mean? It's one of those things that it becomes, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, you know, it's just, I'll take care of it, Justin. I was not paying attention, but I'll take. But you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things, you know what I mean? That I find you figure out that you're in two different worlds. You know, you're in two different worlds, and to see like a person like, for instance, me and Bashar are like the total opposite of each other. Whereas me and Bashar will sell every dog that he has. He tells you he has no communication. I mean, he has no bond with the dogs. He'll get rid of any of them. He doesn't care about them. I turned down, you know, gigantic money for a lot of my dogs. Hallie, we turned down good money, very good money for De Niro. We turned down a boatload of money for Denzel. It's a totally different thing, and I'm understanding now that instead of getting so upset, I start to understand that we are just different. You know what I mean? We're just different, and that's it. You know what I mean? We're just different. Like, you know, I have no problem, you know what I'm saying, punching the motherfucker's mouth through the back of his neck. And but at the same time, if you give me, you know what I'm saying, if you talk about my old dogs, I get in my feelings. You know what I mean? And like I say, I'm being very transparent with y'all. Whereas this also, it's pretty much like I've even neglected my current dogs to a certain level because, you know what I mean, it was traumatic as fuck when Denzel died. You know, and over the last few years, I've been trying to find that thing again, that where I really love doing it. You know. And I know it's there because, you know what I'm saying, I get somewhat excited at a time, but then I back off of it. And, you know, and I'm starting to find it again. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to go, you know, go back that way. But it really is, for me, you love the dog so much that it's like you lose a family member, you know? And, you know, like the day that Denzel died was so crazy because it's like a movie. And I'm being so honest with y'all because it was crazy as fuck, right? He, at the end, I was trying to keep him, you know, in my techniques, and I'm like I say, transparency. I was giving him testosterone to try to help him, you know. He was so old, he was, you know, I was trying to get his hormone levels up to give him a chance to fight, you know what I mean? But it was obvious that his time was coming. You know, in dog years, he was well over 100 years old, and the movement has slowed down so fast from the one year to the other. You know what I mean? Nah, Jason, I never get in that ABKC ring. That's a shit show now. I could never see myself showing against that type of stuff that they got going on over there. There's a few of them I like in the ABKC ring, but I just really don't respect most of the people over there, so... A few of them I really do like, but I don't respect most of them. But, you know, on this particular day, it was strange. I guess I'll share the video that I erased. I was basically there by myself, and he was at that point to where yeah, he just wasn't the same. He went outside and you know what I mean? No, I'll never show again, Jesus. You know, it's me and Marco were just talking about that. Marco said he might come back to the ring in a registry that he doesn't deal with just to prove a point, by the way. But yeah, it's just sort of strange for us to show. You know what I mean? When you write the shit and you like, if we were talking about senior judges, you know, what would that make me and Marco? You know, or Oscar? You know what I'm saying? It would make one of the it would make shit weird. You know what I mean? It would make shit like super weird. You know, because at the end of the day, you like, damn. You know what I mean? Everybody who comes in the ring with us. They would be under us in many levels. You know what I mean? It would just be sort of weird, and that's what sort of made me stop showing, because it was always weird for me. You know what I mean? What's going on, B Brat? But you know, like that day when Denzel died, it was sort of crazy, man, because I tell you what, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if any of y'all, like, if y'all had to deal with an animal and it seems like that they can talk a little bit to you. But on this particular day, he was just strange. He was sort of strange for me, you know. I went into the room, you know what I mean? And I looked at him and he was just sort of chilling. But he had a different look in his face, you know what I mean? And so I could tell he was a little bit weaker, so I got him some sugar water, because at that point, this is how weak he was. He just didn't have it anymore, so I was getting him a little electrolytes, you know. But he took him in, but he sort of just like didn't take him in, you know. And he just kept giving me this look, and he was standing and everything, but it was just a look. And I'm like, man, okay. So I went back and I sat in the living room, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I was starting to get nervous because I sort of knew what was going on and shit, man. And at the end of the day, what ended up happening, you know, is I went back to check him out again, and then he gave me another look, you know. And so now I'm really nervous, and I'm like, but something in me, you know, usually I was about ready to go ahead and take him to the vet. I was like, okay, if this shit get any worse, we'd go to the vet. But I sort of knew that it was, you know, it was about over with. And, you know, 15, 16 years is a long time for it to be over with. So at this point, man, shit was sort of like a movie, because he just kept looking at me and I was looking at him, and I sort of got down, you know, one of those squats. And he came over and, you know, he put his head like on my leg and shit, and he was just giving me a look. And I don't know what, but I strongly believe in God. And something was telling me, like, man, pick him up, you know, because I could see he was weak. I picked him up, and it was crazy because he did, you know, I was holding him sort of like this here, you know what I mean? And I was sort of holding my head back so I could look at him. And it was crazy because he just looked at me, and he, you know, he was just chilling. I'm like, oh man. I was like, you know, and I'm going through my whole thing, because I'm like, damn, my dude about to get the fuck up out of here. And I, you know, sort of like in the angry mode. You know, I was getting sort of mad. And it was crazy because right at that point, like when I was getting mad, he laid his head down on my shoulder, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking that he was dying then. And he didn't. He raised his head back up one more time, and I caught his eye. And you know what I'm saying? And we had, you know, I don't know telling how long that stare was. But then the next time, his head just sort of like the life left him and his body just dropped. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn, that's sort of crazy, you know what I mean? Like, of course, I cried like a baby, and I hugged my dude for a long time, I probably held him for about an hour. You know what I'm saying? I ain't want to go through the process. And then, you know what I'm saying, I finally conceded. That was that was probably like his last victory, man, after I cried for so long. Denzel got his last victory off on me because I had this black what do you call it, comforter for the bed. And this fool used to always steal my comforter, man. He had this thing about my comforter, man. What's going on, TS Valley? And man, you know what I'm saying? I that's all I had. You know what I mean? I ain't have shit else. You know, and my life has been, you know, I go out, I went out in the living room at that time, there's pictures of me and him, you know what I mean? The dude, like right now in Max's bedroom, that's what's over his bed, is an oil painting of Denzel that a friend of mine's made. So, you know, he's Denzel. So I've got hats with Denzel on them. I've got shirts with Denzel on them. You got pictures, you got trophies, you got this, you got that. So as you realize that this dude has died, now every fucking thing around you, you realize this is like, gee whiz, it was a bit much. So I'm just sort of having like a sort of like weird moment at this time. And that was his last thing. I was like, well, you know, I was thinking about cremating him, but I was like, nah. I was sort of getting weird, like thinking about him on fire. I always had a weird, like, I'm telling you, I know that all this shit sound weird. I always had a thing about him and fire, though, because his real name is not Man of Fire. His real name is Denzel Washington. You know what I'm saying? And when I went to jail, the paperwork was done after I went to jail. And Dion named him Man of Fire Denzel. And I never liked that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, you know, I just did weird shit. I ain't set my dog on fire. What the fuck? So I didn't want, he's probably the only dog that I didn't cremate. You know what I'm saying? For that reason. So you know, that was his victory. I got the fucking comforter that he always used to steal. And I wrapped him up in the comforter and I buried him, you know what I mean? And got a little headstone, and that's that, you know what I mean? It was a hell of a day. And it took me some weeks. I didn't sleep for weeks, you know what I mean? But even at that time, I started to think about it being over, you know? You know what I mean? I started to think about it being over for me and dogs. Because it's like fighting. I think when you're a dog breeder, it's like when I used to fight. It's something in you that you have to be a fighter, you know? And I think it's the same thing with a dog, man. Either you got the passion or you don't, you know? And after Hallie being gone, you know, for me, I'm not telling anybody else's story. I'm telling mine. You know, I had two of the greatest to ever do it, you know? Hallie is, in my opinion, is still the greatest female to ever do it, and possibly the greatest dog. Denzel was definitely one of the greatest, you know what I mean? When he was really, really showing, Denzel didn't lose, you know what I mean? That's how he's got 3, you know, championships in the registries. I saw all these kids do it. We won a lot, you know what I mean? Even with De Niro, before they killed him, we won a lot. And when that passion to win, the passion to create, and everything else left, I think that's why y'all saw me. You know what, Jesus, that you're right. It was actually supposed to be Justin. I forgot to put him on there, so I'll make sure I get it done next time. But you know, when you got a passion to win or to create or whatever it is, when it's gone, and that's why y'all remember I used to always compare the breeding dogs to being an artist. You know what I mean? You have to have a passion for it. Jesus is a good friend of mine, and we get on the phone. When we do get on the phone, we talk about dogs forever. You know what I mean? All of my friends, when we get on the phone, we talk about dogs forever. And I'm not gonna lie to you. For especially over the last couple of years, it made it even harder for me to get on the phone because I just didn't want to talk dogs. I sort of forced it. And I think for you guys who follow the page, you saw that I went through an angry stage. You know what I mean? Like, people really started getting on my nerves. The things that I used to could overlook, it started to get to a point to where I didn't, Rick, when I used to do the Rick James thing, Rick James was like, you know what I mean? I cuss your motherfucking ass out, but we have fun. But I started to think over some of my videos and I really wanted to harm people. You know what I mean? I wanted some of the motherfuckers who was talking, they had no idea. If I was so frustrated for a while there, if I could have got my hands on them, it would have been a whole different type of situation. You know what I'm saying? It would have been a bad situation for a lot of people if I would have got my hands on them at that time. You know what I mean? Because my passion for dogs and having to deal with the idiots in this community and the liars in this community and the fucked up people in this community had turned from a passion for dogs to a mixture of the fact that I have a certain set of abilities that I can fuck you up real bad, to let me give you a little bit of that. You know what I mean? Because I'm tired of being frustrated. I'm tired of being in pain. So I'm gonna fuck something up, and it was probably best that I didn't go to shows, and I think some of that might still be there, and that's one of the reasons why I probably never want to show. It's hard for me to show, man. Because, and it's not to say that any of you are beneath me, but my eyes see something different. I know what the real standard is. I remember what the real American bully is supposed to be like. I remember all of the faces and all of the people who were putting this thing together, you know what I mean? And the passion that we seen, you know what I'm saying, go on to exactly, hey, Zeus, I wanted to give it to him, And to see, fuck it. I'll say names, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. But to see clowns, you know what I mean? Destroy something that, it really pisses you the fuck off. Like y'all hear me talk about Remy and shit like that. Like, we love them motherfucking dogs. You know what I'm saying? To see people do what they're doing, it just, from my perspective and the amount of passion and the amount of work I put into it, it's just, it's no respect for these guys, It's no respect. I never bred to a muscle tone dog. That's the thing. I never bred to a muscle tone dog. We bred to a dog that muscle tone ended up owning, but she wasn't a muscle tone dog. You know what I mean? I've never done anything with muscle tone, besides that breeding that ended up making Magoo, but that wasn't a muscle tone female. You know what I'm saying? He bought that female and produced them. And the thing of it is that you never, when you're doing this dog thing, trust me, you never know who you're running against. You never know whatever. Like I told y'all the story about Tone Road. No, y'all good. But Tone, I told y'all the story about Tone Roden, and I'm being realistic, and I'm being very, very truthful with y'all. And Jesus is here, and he can tell y'all, Tone Roden used to be a part of my group. I did nothing but show that dude love. You know what I mean? He stabbed me in the back. He turned into trying to talk shit about me for no apparent reason. No real reason, just lying, stabbing in the back. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just like the whole thing, and it's years later. You feel me? It's years later. And people still talk about, oh, Denzel with his bloody semen, when Tone knows what it was. It was a ripped vein on the side of his dick that we talked about for years. He ripped it when he was 1 year old. This is somebody that I took a dog to, let him use my top stud, let him take him home, everything. Didn't charge him nothing, like extra, all that. And they stab you in the back. You never know, I never knew that Bashar would turn out to be the type of person that he turned out to be. Or there would never ever be, You know what I'm saying? It would have never ever been a Magoo because I wouldn't have allowed it. You know, a lot of people come with a lot of fake ass faces. A lot of people come and act like they care about dogs. But the truth of the matter is if you don't care about the health of the dog and all you keep talking about is the money that you lost and this, that, and the other, you don't care. You know what I mean? And we don't live in a world of reality. We live in a world of people trying to get attention and people talking shit and people this, that, and the other. It's really, really a silly ass world that we live in. Even the shit like think about this in logic. The biggest thing that motherfucker keep on talking about Denzel, bloody semen, bloody semen. But right in front of your face, you see one of the greatest legitimate producers in American bully history. So it's just something to say. If it was ever something wrong with his semen, would we be here talking about Denzel after he died? No. This game that we have, this is why y'all talk to me about showing. Why would I show you? You got King Kong with a championship. You got Mr. Beans with a championship. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of trashy ass dogs with championships, but yet you want me to show for what? I make dogs with great conformation. I make dogs that can move. I make dogs that can run around the show ring with their mouths closed, confident, tails up. You know what I mean? What am I showing against? If we've changed the rules that the dogs don't have to have confirmation, that they can look like bulldogs and everything else, then what is it? I mean, no, y'all know that Brim is not no true American bully. He's a bulldog mix. He's got exotics all over his pedigree. This is what I'm saying about the game. And no shade at you, Tyrone, but this is why the game gets crazy. How can you look at a dog that has obvious bulldogs in his pedigree? And I'm talking about English bulldogs, exotic. You got exotics in that pedigree that literally one shows as exotic, and you're still pushing them as American bullies. And y'all wonder why it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to operate on that level. When they bring in dogs that y'all know is something wrong with the dog, but we just gonna sit here. When China Boy came over, had no paperwork, you're looking at this dog. He's obviously not what we call an American bully. But now all of a sudden y'all say American bully. They want people to show against him. They want people to validate him. It's a disturbing thing that I can't be a part of because it's so ridiculous. TS Valley, they've rewritten the standard about a dozen times now. Have I ever worked? Man, I've never per se worked with Eddie, but me and Eddie have known each other for 20 years. Eddie is really a good guy, but he will troll the fuck out of you. But really, if you get to know Eddie, he's not a bad guy at all. He's actually a real solid dude, man. But Eddie just loves getting on people's nerves, too. But Eddie has been breeding those same type of dogs for 20 years. He has kept his blood pure. I've never really seen Eddie do... Now, y'all might know something that I don't know, but I've never seen Eddie do anything scandalous or anything like that with his dogs. He's kept that same thing going for years, man. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Excuse me, if you want to be realistic, Eddie is one of the people who's actually a pioneer of the American bully, even though he doesn't take credit for it. But when things were going down, Eddie was right there. You know what I mean? Eddie was right there. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You know. I don't think I don't think the name separation would help. I think what would help more than anything is that people just do the right thing. Because even if we make a different name, guess what? People are going to mess up that name. You know. We've talked about that before, by the way, like changing of the names and different things. But it's not the name that's the problem. It's the people that's the problem. You know what I mean? Because this community is tied together by, strings. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, what happens at the ABKC is always going to reflect what happens on anybody else in the community and the other registries, because it's the original registry for at least for some good amount of time. And the same thing with the exotic community. Although most American bully people won't even think about dealing with the exotic community, in a large scale, it affects us all. The fact that they stand there and they breed these dogs that are deformed, and they know they're breeding deformed dogs, and no one cares, it is what it is. You know what I mean? They got all of those things, the furry, the vampire, the merle, it's sad, brothers. You know, it's sad, and we just can't get past it. That's the part. Like anything for a profit, and it's more and more of them coming every day. It's been talked about, James. It's been talked about. I think it's gonna happen. Yeah, I think it's gonna happen. You know, a parent club to really focus on perfecting the breed, and I think a lot of things have to happen in order for this breed to get back to where it needs to be. You know. I mean, the thing of it is that this is the problem with changing the name of the American bully. You know what I mean? Why should we have to change the name? And this is what I mean by that, is that why should the real founders who stick to this, the Oscar Gomez's, the Carlton Pratts, the Marco Suarez's, the Jake Liptons, Danny DeVoe's, myself, Byron, why should we change the breed's name because somebody fucked it up? That's the problem with this. You know why? And this is why I say this, is because you know how they say if you let somebody hit you once, they're going to keep on hitting you? That's what it is. Our main goal is not to fight over a name, but to show who can do it better, who can do it the right way. We believe if we, just like you have multiple different looks with the Pitbull, but we believe that if we establish a real community where DNA testing is mandatory, health testing is mandatory, real judges who will not permit dogs with high rears and bad feet and bad bites and bad temperaments to be champions, if we establish something that is so unique and striving for perfection, that can become the standard, And I think separation will come. I agree with y'all on separation, but I think the separation will come through actions and not words. And I think just claiming a different name or prefacing it a different way, that's just talking. We have to create a community that is establishing a dominance that you run away anything that's weaker. The way I see it is that if we establish a crew of dogs over the next decade that is so good in a community that is operating at such a high level that you can run away all the bullshit, You can run away all the bullshit. Imagine 4 or 5 generations in a place where every single dog has to be DNA tested and mandated health testing, mandated x-rays and different things to make sure that these are the highest quality animals in the world. Then when you do it like that, what is the argument that any other registry would have with you? That's all. We have to go back to a level of dominance over our breed, that it is our breed and not theirs. I understand that what we've seen from the ABKC is special. And I ain't say special in a good way, but we have to get to a point to where we create something so dominant that it transcends time. It's like, I'm gonna give you an example. And most people can't even make this. Most people, some of you might be able to do it. Well, what's the real name of a Band-Aid? What is a Band-Aid? Most people can't tell you what a Band-Aid is because the brand, the company Band-Aid, dominated a portion of a market so tough that the product became named what they named it. You know what I mean? Some of them call them plastic bandages or sticky bandages or different things like that. It's multiple names that they use it, but the rest of us all know if you say what a Band-Aid is, it literally has taken over the name. And it's taken over the name quite simply because of the quality, and they did it the right way that it became the standard for what it is. We have to create a standard. We have to create something that is so dominant that it just takes the name and it takes everything in its way based off of quality, not nonsense. When they show up with dogs like King Kong, where his ass is all in the air and stuff like that, you create a standard where this is just unacceptable. You create Kleenex. Yeah, Kleenex is another one. Yeah, Jacuzzi is another one. Yeah, those are brands, but we know them as the product. That's what you do. You dominate a product so much that you become the brand, and this can only happen one way for us, you know? This can only happen one way for us, is to create something great, you know? There's really no way to clean up Dax. There's no way. It's a myth. I'll tell you why, Tyrone. If you breed Dax, right, you can never really like do really well on doubling down on Dax and bringing it back to the forefront. So the reality is you're not cleaning up Dax, you're getting rid of Dax. Think about that. No one really tries to loop Dax around to the forefront and just keep line breeding Dax because everybody's had problems with it. The most successful breeders who have Dax blood have intentionally tried to breed away from Dax. So at the end of the day, when you look at it, you're not cleaning up Dax. You're just making a bunch of other, you're just making a bunch of other line dogs that happen to have Dax somewhere in the pedigree and saying that it's a Dax dog. When the reality is, once most people are successful with Dax blood, Dax is literally only like 10% of the pedigree. So because he's the biggest name, we say, yeah, we cleaned up a Dax dog, instead of saying that Dax is only 10% of this nice pedigree where the other 90% of the dogs are really the dog. You know, he just dominated the market like we talk about with Band-Aids. You know, that's it. Like, if you look at most of the dogs that they're, especially nowadays, that they're giving credit to say that they're Dax dogs, look at the actual percentage of Dax blood that is in those dogs. It's not a lot. Most times it's less than 20 most times. And a lot of times it's under 10%. But if his name pops up on the pedigree, people say it's a Dax dog, when the truth of the matter is it's really not. Man, ultimate opportunities, I've been saying it for years. I don't understand why people are so determined to get a hold of Dax or Miyagi. It's just it's a lot of work. You have to come it comes with too many issues. Anything that can be the foundation of the exotic dogs, it tells you that it's a lot of problems there. You know? A lot of problems. But it is what it is, man. Look, I have enjoyed y'all. I'm gonna drink my tea. I'm gonna make some more posts and all that good shit. Um, Today is what, Tuesday? I'm losing track of my days. I will be back live Friday morning at my normal time to start trying to get on this thing at the normal time. Like I told y'all, if y'all want to make a donation through Venmo or Cash App, the logos are on there. I appreciate y'all. It has been a great time tonight. We will have another very good time on Friday talking dogs, and I want to talk about the so-called evolution of the American Bully, and we can talk about the good points and the bad points and everything in between. And it should be an interesting conversation because the word separation was used a lot in this conversation, we'll talk about the separation and how do we go forward from there. But as I always say, man, if you're gonna drink good. Don't drink none of that damn Coke 45 that your uncle done left out. Get you some Hennessy or something. If you're gonna smoke good. Don't smoke that shit that your uncle is growing in your grandmama's backyard. The too many sticks and seeds and brown leaves. Get you some of that moon rock or that Mike Tyson. If you're gonna get you some food, make sure you're eating good. Steaks and all that good shit, or if you're a vegan, get you a nice salad. No tofu that raises your estrogen levels. Don't be eating that bullshit Arby's and all that other shit. I just said that because Arby's is right there. And if you're gonna do that other thing that me and Rihanna be doing so well to make these beautiful ass babies, do it well or he or she might leave your ass. Until Friday morning, much love. God bless y'all. Peace. Now if I can only turn it off. Boom.